Samara Weaving is back on my screen, but she's not covered in blood this time. Let's talk about Carolina Caroline. Hey guys, AJYT Abbott here. Welcome to my review for Carolina Caroline. Some of you might not be familiar with this movie. It's kind of a bit of a smaller release. I figured before Supergirl, I do want to get at least one more review in, I guess, just to give you guys something to chew on before Supergirl this weekend. This movie is about Samara Weaving and Kyle Gallner playing a Bonnie and Clyde type couple that go on a yeah, it is pretty romantic, to be honest. A romantic crime spree, if you will. This review will contain spoilers for the movie. If you guys don't want to know what happens in it, go check it out. I believe it is available to buy and rent right now on VOD, so I recommend checking it out. So there you go. There's a recommendation, at least, so you know at least I enjoyed this movie. So how much did I like it, though? Let's talk about that. So this movie premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival recently. And this movie just really intrigued me because it's Samara Weaving. I love to see her on screen, whether it's Ruddy or Not, or The Babysitter, or, you know, even some of her smaller stuff like Borderline. So this movie follows her. She's playing Caroline. She meets this guy, Oliver, played by Kyle Gallner, in the beginning when he's trying to get away with a con at this Phillips station that she works at. Basically, he's giving money to the cash register guy, the cashier, and he's like, oh, wait, I actually need that back in big bills. And then it gets handed back to him, and he's like, oh, wait, actually, no, I owe you this much. And then he kind of confuses them into giving him bigger and bigger bills and convincing them that's what they owe him for, you know, what he gave to them. It's such a fucking smart con from this guy. And these people just fall for it every fucking time. They don't blink an eye at what the fuck he's saying. And, you know, she's the only one that kind of picks up on it at the start, and she goes out to him, she's like, hey, I know what you did, and then he goes about his way, and she sees him later at a bar, they hook up, and, you know, a romance blossoms between the two, and let me just tell you, the chemistry between Samara and Kyle, really excellent. I felt their connection, I really did buy into that, and I cared about them, honestly. A lot of these movies where you have a couple that kind of gets together, but one of them is a bit more rowdy and more into crime than the other one's a bit more, like, innocent. Like, I think of a movie, like Badlands, with, what's his name? Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a great watch. And it's this kind of shy girl, that's, you know, living with her father, and she meets this guy. He's kind of a ruthless, cutthroat guy, but she's into him, but he is kind of into the life of crime. He's in for the thrill, he loves chaos, and he does a lot of really bad things that fuck up her life in the end of that movie. So I definitely think there was some heavy inspirations from that movie implemented into this one, and I enjoyed that, because like I was saying, a lot of times in these movies, you have the girl that's a bit shy, and this guy that's a bit more, you know, ruthless and into crime, and, you know, they kind of clash, they butt heads. At first, she's kind of wanting to get to know him, and she wants him to get away from the crime, but in this movie, she's actually kind of into the crime, she's getting involved with it, she's liking what she's doing, she's learning from him, and she's enjoying it. You know, it's only later in the film, when they have a couple bumps in the road, when she starts fucking up a little bit, she gets nervous, she doesn't like, you know, what this is doing to her psyche. She's like, she says, are we bad people pretending to be good, or are we good people pretending to be bad, you know? And I liked that quote. That was really awesome. The script in this is actually really excellent. For a movie that we've seen the story of kind of a multitude of times, because it is kind of a Bonnie and Clyde story, at least, you know, with a different conclusion to it. You know, it does have a good way of keeping you on your toes, keeping you guessing. Where's it going to go wrong? How are they going to fuck up? How are they going to get out of this? What's going to go on? So I was engaged the entire time. I connected to the characters. Caroline herself, she wants to go to South Carolina to see her mother, who has been estranged pretty much her whole life. You know, she's always wondered what her mom was like, why she left, what's she doing. And she meets her mother in South Carolina at this bar, and her mom is a fucking deadbeat, drunken bitch, man. She just tears into her after, like, so many different questions, and her finally, like, giving her an inkling, like, yeah, I'm your daughter, I'm here to learn about you. She's like, oh, you came to get answers? Well, I'm not going to give you any answers, because I knew from the moment I was pregnant that I was not gonna be your mother. I was not gonna be tied down like that, and I was gonna go do my own thing. So she's been just fucking around in South Carolina all these years, getting drunk at the bar and fucking this one and fucking that one and just doing whatever the hell she wants, while Caroline is out there trying to wonder, what was my mom like? Am I like her? And towards the end of the movie, it kind of mirrors that question, like, am I like my mom? Am I turning into this ruthless, not I don't know, not like ruthless, I guess, but like this person that is just kind of like drifting through life, doing whatever I want? Because things eventually do go bad for the couple as they're robbing banks. They do get fucking caught eventually. By this one guy that goes into their hotel room. He sees the black wig that Samara's been wearing to do all these robberies. Fucking Oliver gets on top of him and is just like, dude, if you say anything to anyone, I've got your license right here, I've got your address and all that shit, I've got your information, I will fucking end anyone you love if you tell anybody what we're doing. So they had a bit of a scare there, and then this robbery happens where she fucks up, and she's like freezing, from the stress of it all, because this cop comes in there, and eventually Oliver has to knock out the cop, and they have to run away. They try changing cars, but eventually she gets sick. They stop along the road. This other cop comes, and at first, like, he checks them out. He checks out their fake licenses, and he's like, yeah, you guys are all good. But then he's like, you mind if I check the registration on the vehicle? He looks in the vehicle. He sees all this broken glass from when they busted into it. And Oliver shoots him in the neck, and he drops dead. They are on the run. They have killed someone now, and even her father knows about it. Her father, he played, Greg on the White Lotus season 1, and I think, yeah, he was in all 3 seasons. Yeah, he's fucking great. He's the dad in this movie. He doesn't have a lot of time. He doesn't do a lot in this movie, but I just liked seeing him in this. But yeah, her father knows about it, and they're trying to get her on the phone at one point, being like, hey, you need to turn yourself in, you need to get away from Oliver, you need to, ditch this life while you still can, and, maybe you'll get out of this with, some kind of repercussions, but not as bad as if you keep going with him, because if you keep going with him, then, it's only going to get worse for you. So, she's running away with him continuously. She's not going to give him up. She's not going to give herself up because she's, afraid of what the fuck's going to happen to her in prison, of course, and she doesn't want to, ditch this guy that she loves, because they do genuinely love each other. I was expecting that over the course of the movie he would kind of grow bitter to her, that she's kind of fucking up, and she's leading him down this path that, he hasn't been caught before. He hasn't been, in this kind of situation before where he's on the run, he's killed someone. But no, he stays true to her, and he loves her. He cares about her the whole time. So I love that. Unfortunately, towards the end of the movie, they get cornered at this bar. The police show up, and he sacrifices himself. He's like firing the gun off, so all these people are running. They're pulling Caroline away, and he fires on the police, and they kill him. And Caroline, I was like, all right, what's she gonna do now? Because is she just gonna turn herself in because she doesn't really feel like she has much to live for now, or what? No. She changes her identity. She gets on a plane, and she's using the same cons, the same tricks that Oliver was tricking people with, like the flight attendant, or not the flight attendant, but the person that's at the airport giving her the ticket. She's getting like kind of sus of like, oh, you're just doing like a one-way trip out of the country. You got all these bills. Oh, those are fresh bills. She kind of like throws her off because she's like, oh, you got something on your face, and then she's like, putting her at in a false insecurity, like kind of embarrassing her, so she's distracted enough so that, she can kind of play it off and be like, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna go enjoy myself now, I'll see ya. And it ends that way. But even in the end, when the woman hands her the cash, she's like, oh, I'm gonna need those in bigger bills. So even in the very, very end, she's still trying to pull another con on top of the con that she just did. So, I admired the performances. It was a great time. And yeah, I'm looking forward to more Samara Weaving. Whenever she's in a movie, I'm going to be checking it out, guys. I'm giving Caroline an 8 out of 10. I think you should check it out. It is worth your time. If you are a big Samara Weaving fan like I am, then you should love it. If you're a fan of just these like crime thriller Bonnie and Clyde type stories of 2 lovers on the run, you're especially going to get into it. So yeah, there's my thoughts on Carolina Caroline right there. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Tell me what you thought of it down in the comments below. Take care and goodbye. I'll see you for Supergirl.